issue, or how would it work with, let's say, a mascot issue? Give me an example of how someone could do that.
Well, first off, what you have to do is you have to educate the people who you're talking to about the existence of the document, because you will find once you start using it as a tool, as your longbow, as your most sacred arrow in your quiver, you will find that most people don't even know about the document. So to begin with, you need to explain to them what it is. You need to show them how that they can read more about it, and then take certain pieces of it, like Article 19. It talks about free, prior, and informed consent when you're dealing with anything that will disturb Native American cultural resources. So when you're trying to save a sacred site, when you bring up this Article 19 of the UN Declaration of Rights of Indigenous People, it specifically guides them to a portion of the document which they can understand. But it also gives you tremendous support and momentum because of its international presence. It's an international document. It's an international, it brings great life to the fact that we want to preserve, but we want to be involved from a very early state. So this is really a process where you have to be patient and you have to be consistent. It's not something that you can just walk up to a table, or you can walk up to a negotiation or to a meeting and say, and throw the UN Declaration of Rights of Indigenous People on the table and say, this is the document that guides everything from this point forward. You have to educate them. And that's a process, again, by becoming human beings. And Walter E. Echohawk, who wrote a book that just recently came out called In the Courts of the Conqueror, and Walter's was a lawyer for 37 years in Colorado. He gave something in that book to us that was just wonderful. And he says that, he explains we need to understand our culture, and we need to understand not only our particular culture of the Chumash, but we need to understand the indigenous culture of the nation and why we lost our land, how we lost our land. And you need to be able to articulate, the Marshall Court, 1823, where our rights and our land were stripped from us in a case called Johnson v. McIntosh. So when you're able to articulate these things to people that have a control over what the outcome is going to be, then you can say to them, yes, we have the doctrine of discovery, we have all of these horrible things that have been embedded in our laws today, but as human beings, we can do better.
I think that one of the obstacles we've had, I believe, as a community of people is that we have, as you know, well over 600, 700, 800 different nations living within the United States, whether they be federally recognized or non-federally recognized. Each one's very different in language and philosophy and spirituality. And so I've often heard the criticism of, well, why can't all of you just get together and, why can't you all get together to take care of things or to change things? And that's what people often forget, is that we come from various backgrounds and with a lot of tribal histories of getting along with other tribes and other nations. So I think that was one of the things that I really appreciated about the DRIP document, is that it was written in a way that is very embracing of all indigenous people throughout globally. And it keeps someone from being isolated. It reminds other Native nations, other Aboriginal nations, that we're all in this together and how powerful we are as a people coming together. So I found that to be wonderful,
it is.
strong.
It's spectacular.
So you and the Northern Chumash Council, can you tell us a little bit about the San Louis Obispo County Supervisors meeting that's coming up?
Yeah, again, I want to re-fortify what you just said. I think that the document is a document, the UN document, Declaration of Indigenous Rights, is a document that brings us together. And it gives us the opportunity to leave all of our egos at the door and leave our family differences, our tribal differences, our nation differences at the door. And what we've done in San Luis Obispo is we've engaged with the Board of Supervisors, and we've asked them to pass a resolution working with the, endorsing the UN Declaration of Rights of Indigenous People. So on August 9th of this year, 2011, we will be passing a resolution at 1 o'clock in the Supervisors' Chambers of San Luis Obispo, the corner of Monterey and Santa Rosa, and we would love to have all Indigenous people support us there at this great time, and we'll be celebrating this wonderful event, and then we're going to have food out at our farm and have speakers and music, and so it's a spectacular time for us and a spectacular day, and we look forward to this passing of this wonderful resolution in San Luis County.
Well, I know I know our whole chapter wants to go. We have AIM people in LA that want to go as well, and because I understand there's also going to be some more workshops on how communities can adopt DRIP in their communities.
Exactly.
And I'm just, again, I want to thank you for just being an example of how taking the initiative and taking the time and as you said, starting from a very nurturing place to cultivate these relationships with the city council, with the politicians that we normally don't want to have anything to do with.
That's true.
And so again, I want to thank you for what you've done and the example that you're showing for all of us.
It's a wonderful opportunity for us, and personally, I'm humbled to the experience, and it's a great time for the Native people of our area and our nation.
Yes, and I know that on screen we've been showing your email address and I think also your website. So if anyone has any questions, they can contact you directly.
Absolutely.
They can also shoot us an email if they want to contact you. Also, if anybody out there is interested in participating in some of these workshops, or maybe even getting one started in their area, I know that they can probably contact you.
Absolutely, we'd be more than happy to give them any of the insights that we've gained in this process, and so we're open to supporting the broader community as our family. I
also want to say thank you to the Northern Chumash Council for showing their support of what's happening in Glen Cove, showing their support for Wounded Knee DeCampo and Corina Guild, with the Ohlone people and the Miwok people and all the the ceremony that's still continuing to take place up in Glen Cove. And I know that you have been there personally, showing your support, willing to talk to the committee and share with them and just be supportive and using DRIP to help that sacred site as well. And I want to thank you for that.
Yeah, it's an honor again to be able to support the health and the wealth of our communities. Yeah, and we have to. That's really where I see this again. DRIP has set. It appears that DRIP has set the model for all of us embracing one another as diverse as we are. That's right. But moving forward in a collective manner. Absolutely. And yeah, it's just really exciting times. It is an exciting time. It's the era, as Mr. Lyons spoke. It's an era of self-determination. Right. Well, thank you again for coming out. How many times have they kept one promise? That's what they kept one promise. One promise they kept. They promised to take all of our land, and they're doing it.